welcome in both Bob Jennings and Joe Linton. We thought we were just going to get Bob, but we get a 2-for-1 here today. So glad Joe can stop by as well. Guys, how you doing?
Doing great.
Doing good.
We are now 1 week away from the start of the Masters CrossFit Games. The two of you are more or less in charge of putting this whole thing together. Now, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is obviously right now, safety, athlete safety, safety precautions, safety plans. That's all very top of mind for people. What has your process been to make sure that when the athletes show up in Birmingham, that when they are competing, that they are going to be not only as safe as possible, but also, if something were to happen, taken care of quickly?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with that, Joe, and then, jump in with everything that I miss, I guess. But
cool.
The safety of the event goes back to all the way when we decide where we're going to host the event, right? I mean, it's not something that just happens to be of focus now, right? Like, this is something that we're always kind of thinking about. And part of the reason why we chose Birmingham Jefferson Convention Center was because we could contain all 3 floors, do pretty much every event inside, and we weren't going to be exposed to the elements at all, right? Joe and I don't like that from an athlete safety perspective. We also don't like it from an event organizer perspective because, I've competed at Wadapalooza a bunch of times where it rains, it's outside, and, events are getting changed at the last minute, and, or events are getting canceled. So it starts with picking the right venue, and then a lot goes into the workouts, making sure that the workouts are appropriately scaled for the different age groups, and we work with experts in the older age groups, because we'll be candid, Joe and I are not experts in the older age groups. And so we work with experts in the older age groups to make sure that we have the scaling right. The overall volume, we're checking to make sure that we have that correct over the course of 4 days. We're making sure that the athletes have enough time to cool down, warm up between their next event, but not too much time to cool down, stay cold, warm up, right? I mean, all of that goes into the planning of the event. And then on top of it, there's just the physical safety elements and making sure that we have adequate medical staff, making sure, that we're working with the city, to have the medics in place, to have, on-site ambulance in place, to have, I'm going to get the acronym wrong. AEDs. Did I get that one right?
Yeah. AED or EAP?
EAP. Maybe that was the one. Yeah. Have all of those, make sure that, they've been tested and are in working order. And, I mean, all of that goes into the planning of an event, Sean. So I'm sure I probably missed some things, Joe, but I mean, you tell me.
But yeah, it's definitely in planning the event. And also it's, teaming up with guys like Josh Hicks, who is our, safety lead, and has taken time to source his own team members. Also with the volunteer submissions, we did get, go through their applications and, do some research into those people to make sure that we're getting the appropriate personnel, that we have emergency, people that are used to responding to emergencies, making sure that he has all the supplies he needs. He has the setup he needs. He has everything he does just in case, something happens. Like I told Josh, like our goal is to set up an event that is safe and has plans in place, but for his team to be as bored as possible.
Yeah.
We don't want you to do anything. So he put a lot of effort into the EAP, making many revisions and updates, and he's very well prepared. So that's like the the emergency side to what we put together for all the athletes, which is very well built out.
Yeah. And I think we'd be remiss to leave out people like J-Mac and Heather and the CrossFit staff that they review this with us on a regular basis and are making sure that based on the number of concurrent heats and people on the floor, right? Like, do we have all the appropriate staff that we need, or do they need to step in and supplement it further, right? And so the support from the HQ staff has been phenomenal with this.
What does the city's involvement look like in all this?
Really just more of a requirement perspective. We hire the police directly from the city. We hire the medics directly from the city. There's a lot of other support and security staff that we hire directly from the city. They're not too involved in the day-to-day, other than making sure that we have, we meet their safety requirements for the event.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the event on site. You mentioned you're going to have 3 competition floors. I mean, I remember the one in Cookville, where you had 2 competition floors.
Yep.
So now you have 3. So as far as what athletes can expect and fans can expect when they get on site, how is this? Give us sort of the run of show and how this is all going to flow for the 4 days that the athletes are going to be competing.
Sure. Yeah. So, so we have the entire Birmingham Jefferson Convention Center. So it's the BJCC, and the North Hall is where all of the event floors are contained. And all of the event floors are essentially 90 feet by 90 feet with 10 lanes on each side. So 20 athletes working at a time, working towards the middle, right? Okay. And so you have 10 8-foot lanes going down each side, and they'll be working towards the middle and back. And there's a bunch of, there's room obviously in the middle to make sure that all the athletes can safely move their equipment and their bodies up and down the competition floor. But so there are 3 different floors. They're all set up down there. One has a competition rig. One has an A-frame rig, and the other one actually has no rig at all. And so that's where all the action will be. In the South Hall is where the full warm-up area is. And obviously spectators aren't allowed to go back there. That's just for athletes and coaches. And then in the East Hall is where we have the athlete village, the vendor village. We'll have the community workout floor for spectators and volunteers. And that's really where everyone will come in from the East Hall and make their way through the BJCC down into the North Hall, where all the events will occur.
Okay. That sounds like a really good time. Just one gigantic Masters CrossFit celebration.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, when you walk into the East Hall, like you'll be basically met by athlete camp, like Bob said, and then walking through vendor village. So there's going to be like a lot of fun things going on, the spectator workout floor, and it kind of like the excitement builds as you walk through it, because you then get a glimpse of the North Hall, because it kind of drops down into it, and so you'll see like the stairs and you'll hear the music and all that stuff. So it's going to be an exciting entrance for everyone, like walking into it the first day and seeing it for the first time.
You guys have been doing this for a while. I mean, you're running the Legends Championship, but I don't know if you've ever done it on this scale. So what are the new challenges that you kind of faced now being the CrossFit Games, the Masters CrossFit Games, as opposed to just a Legends Championship, and the scale at which you have to do this? What were those challenges, and how did you overcome them?
You want to take this first, Joe?
Yeah. So, I mean, just expanding the team that we need to support the event, right? So the volunteers, and having a very good structure set up for them. At Legends, we had about half the volunteers every year compared to what we got the Masters Games this year. So it wasn't terribly difficult to put together the teams, but when you start to get, close to 300 volunteers, you got to really build out the teams, really build out the chain of command, how operations work, how communication goes up and down. So that's where a lot of my time has been spent, is making sure that was set up so that we, as a team, operate very efficiently. Then outside of that, to the athletes, it's communication, making sure that everything's ordered and on time. And that's pretty much, what do you think about this? Just kind of like just getting more stuff for them and making sure we have the space for that. I think that's was one of the hardest things, was making sure that we had enough space for everyone to be comfortable and, to be able to spread out and not feel cramped. Mm-hmm. And make sure we have enough equipment, making sure we have enough, parking and everything else, hotel rooms, everything was just, expanded upon. So it's been fun, stressful, but it's been fun.
Yeah. When you add in like the team competition, how we're doing the Legends Classic at the same time. I mean, for me, Joe is really like, he handles all the logistics and I handle things like the scheduling, right? And the moving the workouts around and making sure that all fits. And when you have 3 floors running, almost simultaneously, it's putting the puzzle pieces together to make sure that, the day flows. Right. And athletes aren't standing around all day and spectators aren't standing around all day, or making sure that we don't have, equipment contention, right, from floor to floor. That's kind of a big one. I mean, other than that, I mean, we certainly, we feel the pressure of taking on more responsibility of hosting the CrossFit Games, right? I mean, it's no longer just the Legends Championship and our name and reputation on the line, but we're taking on the responsibility for the entire CrossFit community, and it would be disingenuous for us to say that we don't feel extra pressure around that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where were the areas that CrossFit was most involved in helping you organize this?
Where were they not involved in helping us organize it? Right. Is really, I know we'll get into the programming a little bit later, but Joe and I, you can see a lot of our fingerprints on the programming and where it ended up. And we started with the original shell, and the finished product is has a lot of our fingerprints on it, and we're ultimately responsible for that finished product. But like, there's a lot of collaboration that goes on in between the initial round of what we proposed for the programming and where we ended up. And, quite honestly, that's like one of the funnest parts for us. Like, we really love the programming aspect of it, but we love the ability to collaborate with people like Boz and come up with these great tests, or what we hope are great tests for everybody. And I mean, that's just a lot of fun. But like, they understand how to operate things at scale really, really well. They being CrossFit, right? And having people like J-Mac and Heather involved day to day in virtually every logistical decision that we're making was just enormously helpful.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about the programming, because that was released today. And so far, I mean, reaction online has been positive, which is, I mean, that's rare, because I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of people
give it time, man. I think we might be.
People like to complain on the internet, and masters like to complain. So the fact that the initial response is positive, I think, is a really good thing. So we'll pop these up on the screen, and we'll kind of go through them event by event. So event 1, which is on the screen right now, and if you're not, if you're just listening to this, let's go ahead and read through it. It's 4 rounds for time of a 600-meter run, and then 5 deadlifts, 10 deadlifts, 15 deadlifts, 20 deadlifts. So it's a run every time, and then the deadlifts increase with a time cap of 18 minutes. So where did this one start?
This workout, actually, believe it or not, this thing was all over the place. Like, we knew we wanted to do a longer run workout. And, originally it started off as just like a longer run. And we pulled away from that for a variety of reasons, a couple of months back. And, ultimately what we wanted to get in here was some, the run needed to be important, right? It couldn't just be throwaway work. So we wanted a distance that was, somewhat meaningful, right? And so that's why for the younger age groups, you have the 4 rounds of 600 meters. And then, some high volume midweight posterior chain to go along with that, just to kind of start off everybody's week. So it's like, hey, welcome to the CrossFit Games, right? You're doing 50 deadlifts, and it's I would say on the relatively medium lightweight, I guess. It's not a volume that people can't handle, but it also has a little bit of our signature, in the reverse, in the ascending reps. Like Joe and I love throwing the ascending reps out there.
Yeah. The intelligence test on the ascending reps is what we're going to see a lot of. You get into round 1, 2, and 3, and you feel like you're almost done, but you're not even close. So it's going to be exciting to see how people break these down and how people attack it, what their pace is on the run. Are they going unbroken every round of deadlifts? I'm curious to see what the high experienced athletes do, especially.
So we have 255 for the men, 180 for the women. I'm assuming that weight are all the age groups going to do this event?
All of the CrossFit Games age groups are doing this event.
Got it. Okay. All right. Yeah. And then I'm assuming the weight will, as we move up, the weight gets scaled back.
The weight and the distance actually scales down too. Okay. And this is one where the running, it'll start inside the arena, and then the athletes will go outside for, it's about 350 meters or so, down and back, Joe, right? And then back inside. So
it's like a little over half is going to be outside.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is the only time that they'll actually be outside in an event, correct?
It's the only time they're leaving the venue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's for, a minute and a half each time.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward. Anything else you want to add on that one?
No.
Okay. We'll go to the next one. Event 2. This is 4 rounds for time of 4 rope climbs of 15 feet, 6 sandbag cleans of 150 for the men, 100 for the women, and then a 40-foot handstand walk with a 12-minute time cap.
Yeah.
That's a
couple things on this. So the 60 to 64 and 65 to 69 age groups are not doing the handstand walk. So they're just doing the rope climb and sandbag work.
Okay.
And the rope climbs come down in volume starting, I can't remember exactly which age group they start coming down at, but they start coming down a little bit in some of the older age groups. This one again, right? Like it's grip intensive, it's core intensive, classic CrossFit. I think, I don't really have too much more to add to this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna have to see. You're gonna see who is efficient with, using their legs primarily on rope climbs, or some people that are arm intensive, and that's going to be super. Get taxed by the sandbag cleans and the handstand walk. So I think efficiency on the rope climbs is where we're going to see a lot of movement in kind of in the leaderboard as the athletes work through each round.
Who tests these for you guys?
So certain ones Joe and I test.
Okay.
We do. We had a gentleman by the name of David Syvertson.
Yes.
Each of these workouts this year. Multiple time Legends champ. I would say the best athlete to never make it to the CrossFit Games so far, quite frankly. So he's tested versions of these, and and then we kind of tweak them from there. And Joe and I are big tweakers. Right? We like to play around with these right up until the last minute. So
But these are set in stone right now. There's not going to be no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, they're
right.
published on CrossFit.com.
There we go. Okay. Well, let's go to event 3.
Yeah.
This one is just for time: 25 overhead squats, an 80-foot dumbbell walking lunge, and 25 overhead squats. It's a 3-minute time cap, so a sprint. Barbell for the men 75 pounds, women 55 pounds, and the dumbbell will be 50 pounds and 35 pounds. That's going to be fun to watch. That's going to, I think, when I looked at that, I go, it's going to be some good races there at the end.
Yeah. So this one, we're only doing it 35 to 39, 40 to 44, 45 to 49, and 50 to 54.
Okay. So not all age groups.
Not all age groups are doing this. This is just a dirty sprint, man.
It is. The barbell only being 75 pounds, relatively light. I mean, actually really light. People are going to want to move fast and, have to sprint, and you got to be able to go unbroken and really push it. It's going to, give you that Fran lung. I anticipate it's going to burn.
Yeah. And this is one of those ones too, where people better be careful on their overhead squats, especially on that second round back. If they try to go too fast, it's going to result in no reps. It's going to end up killing them. So making sure you get that depth and that lockout are critical for this.
So order is important here. And a lot of times you see, and I guess at the games, these fast sprints or these quick events that are, I don't want to say at the end, but they do provide like a good finale. Like if you go back to regionals and semifinals and stuff like that, it's just kind of like the thing that you see, this sprint event. Why put this in the middle?
So this one, believe it or not, it's actually it's workout 3, but it's I believe for most of the age groups that are doing this workout, it's actually going to be their first workout of the event.
Because of the 2 floors, right?
Yeah, because of the 3 floors and just kind of how we kind of get things in. We just thought it would be fun to throw this in here. At this actually was the last workout that was added.
Okay.
And we saw a gap in the schedule. And we had the space and the equipment on the floor, and we didn't have a workout that looked like this, right? That was super light barbell, sprinty, like just balls to the wall and go for it. And so, that's why we wanted to throw this one in.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go to event 4. Now this one is a snatch speed ladder for time. So it's the reps go 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Yeah.
And it obviously gets heavier as we go. We start at 135, 95 for 4 reps, 165, 115 for the 3 reps. Then at 2 reps, you're doing 195 and 135, and then one final rep at 225, 155. That is a 2-minute time cap there.
Yeah.
That's aggressive.
It's going to be quick.
Yeah. Well, so this, we did a snatch speed ladder. This goes back to 2020 when we did Legends during COVID out in a parking lot in Arizona, right? Yeah. And that was a thruster speed ladder. Yeah. And so we wanted to kind of honor that event because it was a really fun event during the 2020 Legends Championship, but we wanted to do something a little bit different, right? And so everybody loves the snatch, right? And we wanted to make sure that the weights in this, most people should finish this workout, Sean, right? Like the weight at 225 for math, that's only for the 35 to 39 age group, and it scales down from there. 225, 155, everyone that should have no problem hitting that. There's 2 bars on the floor, so they don't have 4 bars. So they will actually need to roll the bar forward and change weight.
Load it. Okay.
And load it. Which is actually better for safety purposes, quite frankly. And I think it'll make the event actually a little bit more exciting, because I think it offers the opportunity to kind of bunch things up a little bit and move things closer to the time cap. But who doesn't love a snatch speed?
Oh, it's gonna be great. And again, all age groups, or just
all age groups?
All age groups.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, just seeing people get to that bar. I mean, like we saw, in Fort Worth, people racing to that bar, possibly picking up too soon. We're waiting for the other person to go first, and it's going to be really exciting. Like Bob said, the weight's not terribly heavy, so it's going to be about speed and no missing, and it's going to be fast and exciting to watch.
It's funny you mentioned that speed but no missing, and that is something that Boz used to always talk about when we were on the broadcast, and he would come in and kind of go through these events. Like he would say a controlled freak out. It's like you've got to go fast, but you got to be controlled, because it's like there's a precision element that if you're off by any little bit, it's going to really just kill your event.
Oh yeah, especially in the snatch, right? And you're gonna have a lot of big guys rip through this, and that's just what's going to happen. But it's not too heavy to where I think that the smaller athlete can, with, like we just said, speed and efficiency, hang and be right up there with them. So little bit of balance there.
Takes us to event 5. So this is an up and back chipper.
Yeah.
Really. So we start with 75 wall balls, 40 shoulder to overhead at 115 for the men, 80 pounds for the women, 30 dumbbell step overs with a 24-inch box for the men, a 20-inch box for the women, 50 pounds on the dumbbell for the men, 35 for the women. And then we go back, but the shoulder to overhead now becomes a dumbbell snatch. So we do 40 dumbbell snatches and then 75 final wall balls with a 15-minute time cap. I guess every competition needs a chipper, and this was yours. And how did you settle on these movements?
Man, this one changed a lot.
A lot. A lot. Yeah.
Like I can't even recognize what it was.
Our fingerprints are all over it though, right? Yeah. I mean, like, I think probably half of the events we've ever programmed, people have done 150 wall balls and didn't realize it, right?
Yep.
Like that happens a lot with us. This thing was quite honestly all over the place based on like equipment that we thought we were going to have and equipment that we ended up with. And I personally really like where it ended up. I mean, this is it's a ton of shoulders, a ton of legs. One of the last changes actually that we made on this workout was the dumbbell step overs. Originally that was burpee box jump overs.
Ooh.
Yeah. But we felt like this was better from a like athlete safety and fatigue perspective to go with the dumbbell step overs. Because there's some other workouts a little later where there's a lot more jumping going on as well. And so, yeah.
Well, that's nasty.
Yeah, this one's pretty gross. I mean, and the time cap is more than sufficient for people to finish.
Sure.
So, which just makes it worse.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. The clock, it will not save you.
And ending with 75 wall balls again, it's going to be a gut check.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
At the end there, which is always exciting to watch. So
pace those out accordingly.
Yeah.
All right. Event 6. This is a work rest event. So round 1, you get 4 minutes of work and 1 minute of rest. Round 2, 3 minutes of work, 1 minute of rest, and then round 3, you're just working 2 minutes. And what you have to, for completion, it's 105 or 80 calories on the Echo bike. That's how you're scored. But you have to buy in every round with 75 double unders and 20 chest to bar pull-ups.
Yeah, this is a Joe Linton special.
Okay, why is that?
This is the type of crap that Joe would program for me all the time, man. Like this workout is to me this is my favorite workout, and I had next to nothing to do with the programming of this. I think I might have tweaked around with the Echo bike numbers, but like
we got to bring that down a little bit. But
this was all Joe, and funny story on this. Like we were kind of going through the we were thinking about like, all right, do we have too much volume in here? Is 10 workouts too many? Do we pull one? And Joe was like, I think we should pull workout 6. And I was like, Joe, there's no way. I'm never going to allow you to pull this workout. This is the workout. Like if I were still competing, this is the workout I would probably do the worst in, but it's my favorite workout of the whole competition.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this one.
That's a great one.
Like I like to stress double unders. like you have to be efficient, otherwise you're burning time.
Yeah.
And each round you get that minute rest, so it kind of gives you this false sense of recovery, you know. And you got to be efficient on your chest bar pull-ups.
Oh yeah.
I tested this workout, and you know, my double unders and chest bar pull-ups are, you know, they were unbroken and fast, and it was really hard. A lot of fun. We had a couple people test this out as well, and it was pretty much the feedback was the same from everyone, how this is going to be a fun workout, especially when, I mean, people are going to try to finish this workout in the first 2 rounds. And it's possible. You just got to be really fit. So that's what we're going to find.
All right.
Yeah. This is one where, like, this is another, like, you know, you can always tell a Joe workout, right?
Yeah.
Because there's this idiot test that goes on here, right? Where, like, this is him suckering in a guy like me to hammer on the bike after the first round, or in the first round, and then come back in the second round and just be done.
Yep.
Right? Double unders go to crap, you know. Like, this is a Joe Linton special, man. I love this workout.
All right. Now events. Oh, so again, all age groups do that one. Event 6.
Yeah, everybody's on that one. Yep.
Event 7. I love this one because this is a repeat of a games workout from 2019, right? This is the standard.
Yes, this is the standard.
Yeah, this is Grace 30 clean and jerks, 30 ring muscle ups, and then Isabel 30 snatches.
Yeah,
135 for the men, 95 for the women, 12-minute time cap. Why pull this one out of the games and include it here? I love this. I think it's a great choice, but I just love to get your reasoning behind it.
So this was the first workout that we programmed. We have been dying to program this workout forever. And we've always tried to figure out how to work it into Legends. And we've done like derivatives of it with Legends. This is, I think, I don't want to speak for you, Joe, but I think between the two of us, this is our favorite CrossFit workout ever. So
why is that?
It's just such a great test of fitness, man. I mean, it's, you know, like you got to have capacity, right? You have to have intelligence around how you're moving the bar, how you're breaking everything up. You know, it's CrossFit in its purest form from my perspective. Like, I absolutely love this workout.
Yeah. And I mean, and then you still have the idiot test, right? With after this workout came out in 19, Bob and I did it, and I wrote down, it was Matt Fraser's times, and I finished the clean and jerks like 15 seconds before he did. And I was like, oh my God, that's so stupid. I'm like, what? And so it's like that, like how people are going to go faster than they should on those clean and jerks. And it's going to be a game changer, and it's going to punch them in the face. But yeah, like Bob said, it's just simple, straight through. And again, movements that everyone does a lot of in the CrossFit space. So it's simple to watch, easy to understand, but very difficult to complete.
Yep. And every age group? Or is that...
No. So only through the 50 to 54.
Okay.
Yeah. And we actually, there was a lot of debate around, do we increase the time cap for the 45 to 49 and 50 to 54, or do we decrease the reps? Because I didn't want to decrease the weight, right? Ultimately, what we decided on was for the 45 to 49 and 50 to 54, it's 25, 25, 25 instead of 30, 30, 30. Okay. And really, like, the reason for that is because we have 40 athletes in 45 to 49 and 30 and 50 to 54. Like, if we were programming this just for the top 10, I would have kept it.
Sure.
I would have kept it the same across the board.
Yeah. Okay. Event 8, 8 rounds for time, 8 bar facing burpees, 8 toes to bar, and then 1 clean at 255 for the men, 180 pounds for the women. And it's an 8-minute time cap.
Yeah.
I like this one.
One that looks way easier than it is.
Oh my God. Yeah.
This is the Admiral Akbar. It's a trap right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you miss
Yeah.
a clean, it's devastating.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's not a terribly heavy weight for these guys, but when you're trying to move fast in these two movements before, your midline's being taxed by the toes to bar, you're up and down on bar facing burpees. And then if you miss a clean, it's costing you 10 seconds or more. And you don't want too many of those.
Your midline goes in this workout.
Yeah.
I mean, I tested it. Joe, you tested this one too, right?
Yep.
I remember.
Yeah.
I know Syvertson tested it. Like, your midline goes on this workout. To Joe's point, it's one of those workouts that like looks really easy on paper, and and you can sit there and be like, oh well, I just got to do a round a minute. Okay, go ahead.
I just like it because the rep schemes are all below 10, which is
right.
I'm a big fan of that.
Right. Yeah.
And typically when you see bar facing burpees and toes the bar, those are movements that are generally well above 10.
Yes.
So to see it like 8 toes to bar, it reminds me of that open workout where we had only like 8 toes to bar or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
like 2014 or whatever.
That workout completely surprised me because the toes to bar got tough. I was like, what? That's only 8 at a time. How's that possible? And so it's definitely it's very unassuming.
Yeah, that I'm looking forward to watching that one. That'll be fun. Okay, we get to event 9 now. So this is now your 1 rep max. You have 5 minutes to establish a 1 rep max front squat. Is that going to be from the floor, or will that be from a rack?
That's from a rack.
From a rack. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty
this
simple.
This workout is purely to satisfy my ego. I'm gonna set up a rack on the floor and take on all comers. And if anybody
this is your jam.
If anybody beats me, they win. There you go.
All right. There's nothing wrong with programming to your strengths. You got to put one in there and be like, hey, if I was in this, I know I'd do really well. So that's pretty simple. 5 minutes, 1 rep max. And that takes us now to event 10. This is the final one.
Yep.
We go ascending rep scheme.
Yep.
And there's your signature.
Legends Classic.
Yep. 8, 12, 16 of single arm dumbbell thrusters and bar muscle ups. Time cap is 8 minutes. 70-pound dumbbell for the men, 50 for the women. Is that 8 on each arm or 8 total?
It's 8 total.
Okay, so whatever arm you want to use, that's shooter's choice.
Yep.
Okay. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for this one?
We had it different.
Yeah.
We had it being a hang cluster. Is that what it's called? Cluster?
Yeah, it was a single arm hang squat clean thruster.
Right.
Oof.
Which it's a lot of words to type, more words to say.
Mm-hmm.
And got some really great feedback from Boz on this one. Like, this is the last day. People are tired. The possibility of bicep tear increases, right? With you're doing a bunch of hang stuff. And so we decided to let's just simplify this. Like, the workout doesn't really change. If you just change this to a regular dumbbell thruster, it speeds the workout up a little bit. Going with a heavier dumbbell on the thruster. We like the challenge of it being single arm to create that imbalance, right? And it's heavy-ish and awkward, and then high skill gymnastics, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's again just kind of classic CrossFit, if you ask me. And we just love the ascending rep scheme just because of the mental test that comes along with it. So this is actually one where this is the first time we're ever doing this. We're actually implementing cuts.
Okay.
This is the only workout on Sunday, and only 50% of the field will be doing the workout for each age group.
Okay, so so we're clear. You're gonna cut half the field for every division on Saturday night.
Yep, on Saturday night. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the younger age groups, that would be 20 people move on.
Yeah, that's correct.
15 for okay. Wow. All right. This will be fun. This will be a good way to end.
Yeah. It's a nice, again, this one, the time cap is very generous. But we want to see people finishing, in their final workout and getting to enjoy their time on the floor and celebrating Masters fitness. Right. So
this is a statement, not a question, but let me just tell you what I as a fan like about this is there's not one workout that you guys have programmed that I can't walk into my affiliate and do.
Yeah.
If I had a sandbag, maybe that, if I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, everybody can do these. I think I'm curious to see how, I mean, I have to scale them. I don't know what my age group would be, but I would love to give that a try because I think what's fun about that is it just gives you such a cool appreciation for how fit these individuals really are when you walk in. Even if you're just not even a Masters athlete, go and try some of these and then compare your times to what some of these athletes are putting up.
Well, you know what we can do, Sean? You and I and Joe at the end of every day can go out there and do it for everybody.
It'll be awesome.
No one wants to watch me no.
Yeah, no one wants to watch us at this point.
No, that would be.
There's time caps for every workout. We'll be okay.
Yeah,
right.
There's time caps to save us. Okay.
Just getting my clock cleaned by two guys who are just a lot more fit than me. But hey, I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. I think one thing that I've learned, having been part of the Legends Championship a couple times, is that the Masters community is. We rib them a little bit about, wanting to complain and all that stuff. But when you get in person and you start talking to them, it's a great bunch to be around. And they're so appreciative, to have the opportunity to compete. And I know that they have a lot of trust in you guys. So thank you so much for, taking the lead on this and making sure that the Masters have a competition to where they can crown the fittest.
Yeah, man. And thanks for supporting us over the years. And thanks to those dogs.
Hey!
Good timing with them. And can't wait to see you next week, man. Just to hang
really
out.
looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. So, just a little housekeeping. If people want to watch, where can they check? Where can they find the action? And if they're still interested in attending in person, how can they make that happen?
Yeah. So on our YouTube page, we'll be broadcasting the events. Games.crossfit.com will be also broadcasting the events as well. And if they want to go in person, tickets are available. You can go to legendscomp.com and there's a link. You can go to Ticketmaster and there's a link. Am I missing anything there? You can go to our link tree on our Instagram page at legendscomp.
That YouTube channel that's a Legends Championship YouTube channel, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And we'll get that up on our link tree. I don't think it's up there right now.
Yeah, we'll get it on there.
Yeah.
Great. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Really appreciate it. And again, just appreciate all the effort and taking the lead on this so that we have a Master Championship. And I think a competition that I think people are looking forward to seeing people get back out on the floor and getting this community back to some sense of normalcy. And hopefully this is a big first step to doing that. Yeah. So thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Yeah. That's going to do it for today. Thanks to Bob and Joe. Thanks to our sponsor, Thirdsy. Be sure to check them out. We'll see you next week in Birmingham. For Tommy Marquez and the whole crew here at TEF, take care of each other, be better,